Welcome back to the Norse Benchwarmers podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith, here joined by Ben Miller and Josh Northcutt. Boys, we are in a different location today.
I love this location.
I love it. I love it a lot.
Yeah, this is a cool location for sure.
Huge shout out to Bill Farrow and NKU Media Services for letting us use their place for this. We got a lot to talk about. March Madness special today. We have a lot of pent up stuff we want to talk about on the March Madness that we just want to get out. So, I mean, let's get right into it. You guys got anything you want to say before we start?
I just can't wait to hear your pick.
Hear my pick. You can see my pick right here on my bracket.
I sure can.
Let's start out talking about the games last night. Great game between Howard and is it Wagner? Just
Wagner.
Okay.
Yep.
I keep on thinking of Mo Wagner. But yeah, great game between those two. Where 17-point comeback was it for Howard?
Yep.
A 17-point comeback for them, and then Virginia and Colorado State literally went.
Sorry, I was just acting like Virginia.
14 points in the first half. Like, what? How did this team get in?
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. I said this going into it. Like, they are not going to score 50 points. What'd they have, 40-something?
47, 45?
Yeah. Like, this team had no business being in there.
Seventh time this year, they did not score over 50 points.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's just, how did this team get into the tournament is beyond me. Indiana State should have been there. That would have been such a much better game.
Yes. I was just about to point that out. Like, Indiana State, they got robbed, and Virginia, they didn't deserve to be in. I mean, they got blown out by Duke, and they just haven't even beaten anybody all year. It just ridiculous.
Nobody at all. But now Colorado State will go on and take Florida. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We got some Final Four games tonight. I'm not sure. Probably by the time this gets out, the games will have already been played. But we'll go ahead and talk about them a little bit. We got I'm sorry. I looked at the wrong spot. I was looking at Colorado, not Colorado State. Colorado State's going up against. They'll be going up against. Where they?
No, it's Colorado versus Boise State.
Colorado State will be going up against Texas, though. That's who they're facing.
Yes.
Colorado will play Boise State for the right to play Florida in the first round there.
Yep.
So, that'll be an interesting game. But tonight, this is the first game of the 16 seed again? Montana State versus Grambling?
Yes.
Okay. So, when it goes on to play Purdue, I'm not the least bit scared.
Lose to Purdue. It's not going to happen again, buddy. Don't worry. It's not going to happen again.
It won't.
God, I hope so. All right, so they'll play. That'll be a great game. Montana State, that's a pretty nice team out there.
Our buddy Logan over at the Raid is obsessed with them.
Big fan. He's a big fan.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's excited. I think he actually said he's going to go up to the game and has Montana State gear. So, probably the only dude in Kentucky with Montana State gear, but he's going to be there.
There's Montana State gear?
Apparently,
huh? And then the second game we mentioned, Boise State versus Colorado. That'll be a good one. I really like Cody Williams. I like that Colorado team. They are clicking at the right time. I think I'm going to kind of use this game as a wage. Do I think they can upset Florida? Do I think they can make a run? Boise State, I feel like I always trust them every year, and every year they just don't win. So I just have no faith in this team.
I mean, Colorado, they're a really good team. They're peaking at the right time, just like you mentioned. Like, I was going over the stats last night. Like, they're a really good offense, number one in three-point shooting in the Pac-12, I believe.
Really?
And yeah, they're a really good team. And, Boise State, like, the whole Mountain West in general is just underrated in my opinion. They don't get the love that they deserve.
Completely agree.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a really good matchup. I cannot wait to watch it, but I got Colorado winning this one.
Got Colorado win that one.
Yep.
I also have Colorado winning.
That's who I got too.
It's March. Best players always find a way to win. Give me Cody Williams and Colorado Buffs.
Yep.
Exactly. And don't sleep on them to win that Florida game, but we'll get back to that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
At all. So let's go ahead and get started with the East portion of the bracket. We'll just do this like they did on the selection show, go down by down. Some we'll talk more about, others we'll talk less about. And starting with UConn and Stetson.
Yeah, so I mean, there's really not much to say here. If UConn,
are you sure?
UConn,
I feel like this game's a lot closer than you guys think.
UConn is gonna handle them. I mean, I don't know what the spread is, but I'll tell you right now, I'll take UConn to cover.
Yeah.
Don't even need
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think we all got UConn here, right?
Yeah, I got UConn.
You got anything to add?
For the second year in a row, we're not going to see a 16 upset of 1. I'm going with UConn.
Scary.
Keep sticking them in,
Just
sticking
keep
them in the
sticking
side.
it. All right, let's move on to a not one seed here. FAU versus Northwestern. This is a much more interesting game.
Yes.
I started thinking FAU here. I pretty much throughout the first day or two, and then pivoted to Northwestern. I know they're injury ridden. I know they they aren't the most flashy team, but they have the best player in the game in Boo Buie, in my opinion.
Yep.
He is a beast. And Florida Atlantic has just throughout the season failed to show effort. Why should I believe that they'll show the effort here today? They don't play defense. They're not a balanced attack, and I think Northwestern will shoot them out of the gym.
I mean, I was kind of going back and forth with this matchup. Like, Florida Atlantic, didn't they bring back the same team from last year?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is a great team. Like, they're underrated.
Mhm.
Like, earlier in the year, they knocked off number 4 Arizona.
Yeah.
And to go up against Northwestern, I'm sorry, like, this is a really good matchup for them. Like, it's going to be a really good game. Like, Northwestern, they're second in the Big Ten in 3-point percentage. Like, this is going to be a fun matchup, but I'm sticking with FAU.
Sticking with FAU.
Yep.
I'll sum it up real quick. Don't know much about either team.
Mhm.
As you guys said, though, FAU's bringing their guys back. However, I saw a stat that says when it's undecided on the 8-9 and you have a choice of pick, always pick the underdog.
Because you get more points.
And currently, right now, Northwestern is the underdog in the matchup. So I think Northwestern upsets FAU.
Yeah, that's what I got. I also think Dusty May has just kind of been like with the team, just hasn't been his best coaching effort because he's got one foot out the door.
I was about to say there's rumors hardcore going around Louisville that he's been already basically on the first flight to Louisville once FAU's done.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I think this is just a team kind of dead in the water in my opinion, but it's not a bad take to take them. If they show up, if they play to their potential, they can beat any team in the field.
I would agree.
We've seen it.
I mean, yeah, last year they came into last year's tournament as a 9 seed, and they completely shocked the world. So I believe in this squad.
Yeah, it'll be a great game for sure. Moving down the list, though, we have San Diego State versus UAB. This is going to be a interesting matchup. I think San Diego State probably gets this win here. I think they're a pretty safe team in March. When you have a great defense with a solid offense, that typically gets you a win or two, saves you from being upset. But this UAB team can shoot it out of the gym, so you can't sleep on them. You're going to have to think, though, UAB is going up against the toughest defensive team they've played all year, so they're probably not going to be very prepared for that, but who knows? Yeah.
I I got San Diego State winning this one. Like, when I was going through, like, what 12 is going to upset a 5, I just didn't feel UVA upsetting San Diego State in this one.
Yeah.
Because, like you mentioned, San Diego State, they're a really good defense. I think that's going to be the difference in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they will advance to the round of 32 and play Auburn.
Already jumping ahead there. But, I agree. I'm going San Diego State as well. UAB got hot during their tournament, and I greatly appreciate that. Andy Kennedy is showing yet again that he is a good coach, and from day one, he should have been the UC coach when they hired Mick Cronin, but I still haven't forgiven UC for that. So, still give me San Diego State. And they still have a few guys returning from the Final Four team last year too, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Because their main scorer, is it Bradley or Bradley's the one that left? I can't think of his name, but I do know their best guy is from that team.
So experience too. So give me San Diego State. And, we'll jump ahead to the Auburn-Yale game, and I'll make it real quick. I'll take Auburn and the best player who is going to have a Kemba-like march in Johnny Broome.
Johnny Broome. I like that take. I like that take a lot. I've made it known to you guys. Auburn is a team I'm very high on. So it's not necessarily. It's just last year I had a feeling about this team called UConn, and they won the championship.
Yeah,
this year, and what were they, a 5 seed? This year we got a 4 seed that I have a feeling about in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
That's Auburn, and so that's why I'm really high on Auburn this year. So I got Auburn pretty safely getting this win. Ivy League teams are nothing to slouch about. Nothing to slouch about, regardless of the situation. We saw that last year with Princeton. We've seen it with Yale a couple years ago. So absolutely nothing to slouch about, but I got Auburn here pretty handedly. Moving on down to BYU versus DeQuincy. I have this game circled because BYU is a team that relies on one thing.
The 3-ball.
Exactly. And BYU is going up against a DeQuincy team that's pretty good at defense.
Mm-hmm.
At least down their run, they've been pretty good at defense. Not the best offensive team. I still have BYU because I think they just play at a higher level than DeQuincy. Or is that's not how you say it. Is it Duquesne?
It's Duquesne.
Yeah, sorry, Duquesne. I
was just letting you go ahead and roll with it.
As a kid, I always called them DeQuincy.
I think all of us did.
Yeah, because that's what it looks like, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got BYU surviving, but I'm not going to be the least bit shocked if Duquesne pulls this one out.
Yeah, I agree. Basically exactly like you said, though, but I'll just take BYU being able to shoot the lights out of the gym and win the game.
Yeah, I agree. Like BYU, they've been a tough 3-point shooting team this year in the Big 12, and I think that's going to be the difference in this matchup. So BYU for me.
Yeah, one thing I did note here, 32% from 3 BYU is since conference play.
Wow.
They are playing in a very tough conference, but when you rely on the 32%,
it's usually not good come March.
Yeah, it's not a good sign. So I really do go back and forth on this one, but
that's fair.
Moving along to Illinois, this is a team I know Josh is pretty convinced they are going to implode here. I think they will win this first game, mostly because their opponent, Morehead State, they've played 2 Big Ten games in which they gave Indiana a tough time and then got curb stomped by Purdue. They got curb stomped by Alabama, who plays a similar, I wouldn't say pace, but they are a high-octane offensive team like Illinois. Mm-hmm. So I think Illinois will be able to handle Morehead State. It's when we get to the second round that I think they might run into a little issue. I think you believe the same way, but yeah, I got Illinois here.
Yeah, as of right now, I still have Morehead State. I have been going back and forth. Illinois obviously is one of the top offenses in all of college basketball. However, they're 93rd ranked in defense, and in March you got to play some kind of defense. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, I'll get to your boys later.
Oh boy,
thank you for that.
But no, at some point you have to play defense, and if they're not going to play defense, why not Morehead State? They keep the hot run from their tournament run and see what happens. But I'll lean Morehead State, but Illinois probably does win.
They also got Terrence Shannon, which I think is very valuable in games like this, just having a guy that I think can just make sure you don't lose. Yeah. And he's definitely a guy like that.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is going to be a really good game, excuse me. Like, Illinois, they're a really good team, and Morehead State, like, I would not be surprised that they can pull off the upset. I think they're a scary team. So,
all right.
But I think Illinois will survive in this one.
Definitely could be a sleeper one. Illinois, more so just on the Illinois side is what I'm concerned about. Yep. Brad Underwood has consistently just flopped in the tournament, so I really struggled trusting Illinois in the tournament at all. Like, yeah, he had a great conference run there in the conference tourney, but when it actually comes time for the lights to be on and for it to be March, what's going to happen, we don't know. Moving on down the list, though, we have Washington State versus Drake. I have Drake as a sleeper pick. I'm going to go ahead and talk about their path a little bit, why I think that they could be a sleeper here, because they face a Washington State team that will get it'll be both teams will give a full 40 minutes of basketball. They are fundamental. Drake is a very smart team that doesn't make many mistakes. So then moving down the line here, they got Iowa State also will give a full 40 minutes of basketball. We know that they are one of the best, if not the best, defensive team in the country right now, Iowa State. Drake is a very efficient offense. So it's really just going to come down in that second round matchup of whether Iowa State will be able to force a Drake team that averages 9 turnovers to average more than 9 turnovers.
Right.
So when it comes to that, I could see Drake winning that game, just as the fact that Iowa State does not have the offense necessary to match that. if they go on to win that, I don't have that on my bracket. I see you looking down.
I'm just curious what you had.
Yeah. So I have Iowa State still winning that game, but I could see them Drake beating Iowa State, and honestly, if they're facing Illinois or BYU, neither team I have much faith in, so I could genuinely see them make a Elite Eight run here. But I also see that every year with Drake, as they're a very trendy team. They have kind of a balanced attack, but their offense is always just so clean that you think, oh yeah, they will beat the more aggressive teams. But there's my Drake take.
I know.
And a long-winded, but a Drake
I'm
take.
gonna say I don't think that's long-winded at all. That kind of helped me because I was going back and forth when building the bracket on which one of those two I liked, and I just kind of went Washington State because as you mentioned, Drake is always that trendy team.
Yes.
So when they're trendy, I don't like taking them.
Same.
So I was just like, all right, I'll just take Wazoo. But I don't believe in Wazoo either. The only time they seem to show up all year was when they were playing in
Arizona, yeah. Didn't they get the win?
Twice.
Yeah, twice. I don't think Arizona didn't get a win on them at all.
I mean, this is another matchup I was kind of going back and forth on. Like, Washington State, I think they surprised a lot of people on how competitive they are this year, but my upset, I'm going with Drake in this matchup.
Okay.
Like you mentioned before, they're a great offense, and it'll be fun to see them match up against Iowa State's defense. So, yeah, fun matchup right there.
Drake is also a team that's been in the tourney. It's got a coach that's been in the tourney a lot recently. I believe most of the players have been in the tourney here recently. So it's an experienced team as opposed to a Washington State team that has not been to the tourney since 2008.
Yep.
So I was in kindergarten.
I was graduating high school.
Yeah. But yeah, so I like Drake in that matchup, but I don't sleep on Washington State. I think it's really a 50-50 game because they played the game very smart. They don't rely on any one thing. They're a scrappy team. So I would not sleep. It's a very 50-50 game to me.
Yep. I agree. And then just going off the next game, you guys both already mentioned Iowa State. I'm not going to argue that. It's plain and simple. Best defense in college basketball. Give me Iowa State to roll in that game.
Yep.
I don't go as far to say they'll roll though. South Dakota State is a high octane offense.
But have they played anyone like Iowa State?
That's the thing. I would say in 9 games out of 10, Iowa State wins that easily. However, there's that one game that could appear in March. Oftentimes, it's that one game that ends up derailing your bracket because South Dakota State decided to show up and shoot 50% from the field. If not 60.
Fair enough, but I'm taking Iowa State.
I'll take Iowa State. They've been consistently they don't mess around. It'll take somebody who is a better all-around team than them to knock them out, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So moving on to the second round, we'll talk about some of the potential matchups, who we see going deep here. I think for UConn, I think regardless of whether it's FAU or Northwestern, they'll probably win that game.
I agree.
Yep, I agree for sure.
Moving down, Auburn. I think this is a close one. Auburn. We all picked San Diego State, right? And Auburn.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So for Auburn and San Diego State, I think there's a conversation to be had here because Auburn is a team I have a great feeling about. But when I looked at the stats, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. I looked at their quad 1 wins. Their only quad 1 wins. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but they only had 3 quad 1 wins, and I believe one was Kentucky, Tennessee, and maybe just 2 Tennessee wins.
Let's say ESPN's notable wins were Texas A&M, Alabama,
I should pull that up.
Mississippi State, and Florida.
Okay, yeah, Florida was the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, they've beaten some good teams, obviously.
Yeah, they've beaten some good teams. They've played a lot of good teams, so they know what to expect. But at the end of the day, that was somewhat of a red flag to me. But a lot of this just needs to be on field. You can't just look at the stats and automatically just base that off of whatever you see. So
yeah, I've been having a feeling about Auburn for a while. I think it was about a month and a half ago, 2 months, when they both were Tennessee and them were rolling. I was asking my other group chat, when does Auburn and Tennessee play? Because I was looking forward to that game because that's when Tennessee was hot as well, and we didn't realize they were just one-sided offense.
Right.
So the whole Auburn thing, like I said, I think it's just March is going to be Johnny Broome, and he is going to become a household name.
Totally agree with you there.
So, with this matchup, like I mentioned before, I got Auburn winning. I think their offense has been really good all year. Did you guys know that all their wins have been by double digits.
No.
All of them, like every single win.
Well,
Or
actually, I'm not sure if it was all of them, but I think most
Okay.
of them. So like
okay, like a high percentage of them.
yeah, like they're an elite offense though. I think they're a Final Four sleeper and they can compete with UConn. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them and advance to the Elite Eight. Even though I'm still riding with UConn,
Yeah,
I believe
yeah.
Auburn might have a chance against them.
So, so we all agree that they'll beat San Diego State,
Yes.
though.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So we both have UConn and Auburn playing into the Sweet 16. Looking down at BYU and Illinois, we all no, you had Morehead State winning that one.
Yes, I had Morehead State winning that one.
Do you have?
I do not have them going to the Sweet 16.
Okay.
I do have BYU continuing to shoot.
As you
it
can
out of
see,
the
I
gym.
crossed out Illinois here. I went back and forth on that one.
Yeah, no, I mean that's gonna be a tough one. But my thing about it is Illinois will then finally be playing someone who can shoot with them and match for them in offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I like BYU because I believe they play a little more defense. Obviously, Big 12 style, they're kind of ready to bang and everything else. So, I mean, I lean BYU, but I don't feel comfortable about either one of those games.
Yeah, neither one of those is very comfortable to me either. Ben, what do you think?
I mean, I got Illinois advancing past BYU.
Okay.
I mean, I think this will be a really good competitive game. Like I mentioned before, BYU, they're a great three-point shooting team, and Illinois, that's another offense that can really shoot the threes. So I think Illinois will advance.
Okay. Down here, Drake versus Iowa State or Washington State versus Iowa State. I think we already kind of talked about that. We felt Iowa State would probably win that game regardless.
I'm going to say I still think Iowa State's going to be one of those teams that you're going to look at and you feel like they're going to get upset or they could win it all. And I know that's a big, wide spectrum.
Every one of their games is close.
Yes. So I'm just going back and forth. I could not figure out where I had them going out. So I just basically had them ride to the Elite Eight and then lose to the better team.
Yeah.
And Auburn.
I would agree with that there. So moving on, we got UConn versus Auburn. Kind of talked about that. You have UConn beating them, Ben, and then I have Auburn beating UConn.
As do I. So, Ben, why do you have UConn outside them looking like the best team in all of college basketball?
Yeah. Why would you think such a team?
I mean, like UConn, they just been the most complete team all year, the most consistent. Like they, I'm trying to think. They've averaged 84 points a game in offense, and they got an elite defense. And yeah, I just think they're the most complete team, and I got them advancing past Auburn.
Yeah, I don't hate that take at all, but with UConn, a lot of times we have these number one seeds who are perfect. They have no imperfections. There's no flaws with them, and then we get to the Sweet 16, and all of a sudden, a flaw pops up.
Yep.
And they don't know how to react about it because they've gone all year long without this flaw popping up, and I just think that's just kind of how I go. I very, very seldom do I pick a one seed to make it out of the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight. Like, especially with a team like Auburn, who I've said like 5,000 times this show that I'm very high on. So, yeah, I don't hate anybody who has UConn as a champion. You might be right. If any teams want to go back-to-back, I would probably say it's this team.
And that's another thing to be added to it is going back-to-back is very, very, very hard. Now, mind you, a lot of teams haven't had the capability of doing it because they haven't brought back what UConn has brought back this year. But it's just not an easy thing to do. There's a reason why it hasn't been done since you said 05, 06?
05, 06, right?
06, 07,
Okay,
Florida.
all right.
Yeah.
I knew it was Florida.
Yeah, I remember that Florida team very well.
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not either.
I remember the remnants of that team. What was it?
Joakim
Noah,
Corey Brewer.
Okay.
There was another dude.
Wasn't Al Horford on Florida?
Al Horford.
Okay.
And then there was two other dudes. But I just remember those big three. And then there was one more really, really good player. I just can't remember his name right now.
Yeah. Well, moving down, BYU or Illinois versus Iowa State. We've pretty much talked about this. We feel Iowa State will win whichever one they get there. They will just neither team will be ready for that defense, I don't think.
I mean, BYU's played them before though.
That's
And
true.
BYU
I kind of
gets
forgot they were in the same conference,
mean,
and
yeah.
BYU beat them once, didn't they?
They did beat them.
I believe, yeah, they won like 88-80 or something like that.
Let's see. I'm double checking that now. If somebody wants to keep talking.
Yeah, I kind of forget they're in the same conference. That's something I'm adjusting to.
Yes, you are correct. Iowa State beat them 68-63, and then BYU beat them 87-72. So they beat them pretty soundly. Wow. However, that was at BYU.
That was at BYU.
And playing in that altitude and playing in that atmosphere.
Playing on your home court.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, I still think Iowa State's defense rides and get to the Elite Eight. And then, like I said, they lose to Johnny Broome, March, and Auburn.
Yes. I think that Iowa State is probably the best traveling team in the Big 12. They're the only team that gave Houston anything at Houston all year long. Any other game was like a 20-point blowout. So I think that's why they're also very battle tested, very ready for this trip they're about to endure on March Madness. And so that leaves either UConn or Auburn going up against, we agree to be, Iowa State in the Elite Eight. I'll start with you, Ben. Who do you got?
I'm still going with UConn. Like I mentioned before, they're the most elite team, but I'm interested to see how Iowa State's defense will match up with UConn. Like, who knows? It might be a difference maker. So, but I'm still riding with UConn.
Josh?
We're talking Elite Eight now?
Yeah, we're talking. We got Auburn and
like
Iowa
I said,
State.
Auburn, Johnny Broome, March. Just keep riding it all the way through. I'm telling you, man, he's going to become a household name. I'm talking 20, 25-point average in March.
Not unlike Carson Edwards a couple years ago. I gotta bring in my boy. Gotta bring in my boys. The good old days. All right. Yeah, I got Auburn. I got Auburn here. Their team I have a really good feeling about. I've said it about 1,000 times. I don't need to say it anymore. Johnny Broome, supremacy. Moving on down to the West bracket, we might want to move through this one a little bit quicker.
The West bracket.
Oh, wait. How'd they pronounce it? Well, wait. We'll save that one for last for you. Just a little. Yeah. So over here in the South bracket, we have number 1 Houston versus number 16 Longwood. It's a great name, Longwood. I don't think any of us have them winning that game, so let's just move right along.
No, Houston.
Nope. Houston.
Nebraska, Texas A&M. I have throughout the entirety. This is the only 8 and 9 I haven't tossed and turned about. Well, I guess I haven't tossed and turned about Utah State, TCU. But Nebraska. I got Nebraska in this one.
I just went Texas A&M for the same reason. 8-9 matchup. I took the quote-unquote underdog.
Okay. All right.
For myself, I'm going with Texas A&M. Like, I think they're peaking at the right time, and I think they're a sleeper in my opinion. Like, Wade Taylor IV, he's been elite all year. He's a great offensive player, can really shoot the three. He can really play defense. Like, Texas A&M, they deserve to be in this tournament. Like, they beat Kentucky twice, but I think they have potential to possibly knock off Houston.
You think they can knock off Houston, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I got Houston advancing. Don't get me wrong, but I would not be surprised.
Okay, we'll wait. We'll get to the second round before we let you elaborate on that. No. That kind of shocked me. I haven't heard that one yet, but that could be a good take there. Yep. Moving down the line, I have Wisconsin and James Madison. I originally put James Madison. I've gone back to Wisconsin. I'm probably going to go back to James Madison, then back to Wisconsin. We still have plenty of time for a lot of switching of the guards. I'm curious your guys' take. You might be able to change my opinion on this.
Personally, for me, I'm going JMU. I don't think Wisconsin is that good. I don't buy Wisconsin basketball ever. So I'm just going to stick with JMU being the hot 12-5 seed upset. Just ride with them.
All right, for myself, I'm going with JMU as well. This is a team that has been outstanding all year. Like, just looking at these stats here, they're the Sun Belt champions, of course. They're 10th in the nation in scoring, averaging 84.4 points. They beat Michigan State in East Lansing, tough environment to play in, and they got a really good backcourt that I think can make some noise in this first round against Wisconsin. JMU for me.
See, the thing that's held me back about JMU is everybody brings up that Michigan State game. It's a very memorable game. It was the first game of the year back when we thought Michigan State was not going to be Michigan State about it.
Yep.
And it just makes me – who have they played since, really? And I don't really see anybody on the schedule that makes me think, yeah, that's a great win or anything. If you have one, please let me know. But yeah, I like this Wisconsin team a little bit. I'm not as down on them as others. I think they showed promise in the tournament. The team that went up to be as high as a top 10 team before losing 7 out of their last 10. I don't like that on their resume, but I like AJ Storr. I believe his first name's AJ. I know his last name's Storr. The transfer from St. John's. I think he is a game-changing player right there that can keep you safe, get you that win at the end of the game. That's a lot of what you need in March, is just a guy who can take over. But I don't hate the James Madison take. You guys might have convinced me to go the other way, but I don't think Wisconsin will necessarily roll over and let it happen. But yeah, moving on to Duke and Vermont. This is a game I have circled as well. Duke seems to be the favorite, but Vermont plays a very different style of basketball, the slower style. This is one of the. I know they get here every year, but this seems to be one of the worst Vermont teams to make it.
Really?
So yeah, I mean, not like they're bad or anything like that. Obviously, they're a great team. They made the tournament, but as far as the analytics go, this team is not as well offensively. They're a little better defensively, but I just kind of question how that'll hold up against Duke.
It pains me to say, but it's pretty simple. I think Duke had a wake-up call in the ACC tournament, and we're about to maybe see a nice little run of Duke in March. So I'm taking Duke.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking Duke as well.
Definitely an unbiased opinion if Josh is saying it.
It hurts.
It's definitely straight
It
from the heart.
hurts.
All right, let's move on. We still got more Duke to talk about later.
I don't want to.
Texas Tech and NC State. This is, like we talked about earlier, a very trendy pick. I think probably there's more people that have NC State in this game than Texas Tech, and I'm going to go on the record. I got Texas Tech here.
I also have Texas Tech because I'm not picking NC State because I'm bitter.
He's the bitter man right here.
I am bitter. It is the realest thing in the world. They have no business being in this tournament. Little sister came in and beat us in the ACC championship. It makes no sense to me. But yeah, so no, I'm taking Texas Tech to roll.
All right, I'm going with NC State. I like 5 wins in 5 days. Like, I think.
How many wins in the days before that, though?
I can't even think about that.
17.
I mean, like, what a story for this Wolfpack team. Like, I think they will advance past Texas Tech.
I have one question, and maybe either one of you guys will know about Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So Armando Bacot, Carolina, very big man, very strong man.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Burns made him look like a little boy out there.
Mm-hmm.
They say DJ Burns is 260 pounds. DJ Burns is not 260 pounds.
Absolutely not.
No.
So with the whole situation of that, does Texas Tech have anybody with size that can match up with him? Because if not, then I'm probably going to have to say unbiased pick NC State rolls. Somebody's going to have to match up with him in size on either team.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't looked into that part of the matchup, I'll be honest. That's something I need to look at.
Yeah, I haven't looked much into it either.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times with these trendy picks, people who go on runs like NC State did, they end up just burning themselves out. It ends up being just lightning they caught in a bottle, and they get to the tourney and gone.
Yep.
Bubble burst. But it's an incredible run. It's definitely worth noting that is a great run that they made, but I'm not as high on them as I would be maybe an Oregon that we'll talk about later that won the Pac-12, because they've done this story before with the same coach and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But incredible run, though. Just a great run for sure. Beat off some great teams. And, you know, I'm not necessarily saying I'm rooting for Texas Tech.
No, you are.
I am, because they got them beating UK. But, yeah. Any more thoughts on that, or
nah,
move
like
along?
I said, I'm very biased, and we can just move past to the next game too, because I'm taking Kentucky to score 100 and,
against Oakland.
Kentucky to score 100 and the win. Go ahead, Ben. Talk about your favorite team.
Yep, let's hear it. I didn't bring my drink in here.
All right, so Kentucky will beat Oakland, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think that guard play is going to show up.
I so hope we can just pull up this. I hope we can pull up this clip after the fact, after Oakland upsets Kentucky. That's not my pick. That's not the pick I have.
Come on, man.
But I really,
Come on.
I really want to have this pick.
He won't be in class on Tuesday.
Yeah, understandably so. Continue. Sorry.
You're good. But I think those three guards are going to come together and they're going to put up 100 on Houston. Or excuse me, Oakland.
I was going to
Yeah.
say
Put
100
on
Houston.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
100 on Houston. Alrighty.
100 on
Oakland.
Houston.
Oakland.
Hey, I bet you can make a lot of money if it actually hit. Though. All right, so we agree on Kentucky there. Florida and Colorado, or it's not Colorado yet.
Yeah,
That's who I think
depending
it
who
would be.
we get.
That's shaping up to be an interesting game. I know Florida just had an injury befall them with their center. I still think they got it though. They play a very they have a great offense, but they hustle, they get rebounds, they play defense. I think it's a very balanced team, and I say balanced a lot. I like balanced teams in March because they tend to be able to weather the storm, but they don't have the best player in the game. That is Cody Williams.
And that's why mainly I'm going with Colorado is Cody Williams. However, Colorado could be a very sneaky pick. 25th offense, 42nd defense. So they play both sides of the ball pretty darn well. And also, since the playing games has existed, the first four have existed, every year there has been at least one playing team to make the Sweet 16 except for 1 year.
Okay.
So
That's a great trend right there.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, watch out for Colorado, especially if Cody Williams can start balling like we expect to see.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, I'm going with Colorado. I feel like that 3-point shooting is going to show up, and I got them advancing.
Yeah, I think it'll come down to really that first four games, assuming they win that game. And I like what I see. I'll probably just switch that over to Colorado. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to this. They face a Marquette team that I think is very beatable.
Yes.
Very beatable.
Especially with the health questions of Tyler Kolek, I think is how you pronounce his last name.
Yes, Kolek.
Kolek. His health issues are very concerning for Marquette. I know they got to the Big East Finals without him, but they're clearly a better team with him. And if he's not there, I'm going to say it now already. If he does not play, Colorado will upset Marquette.
I completely forgot to mention Western Kentucky, the fastest team, the highest scoring team in the country.
Did not know either one of those stats.
I did not know that either.
Actually, Kentucky might be the highest scoring
yeah, I'm
team.
going to say that I would probably think.
The stat I'm thinking, they are the fastest paced team.
And I mean, come March, that is very important to have when you want to pull an upset.
Yes.
Yep.
To pull an upset to get that one win, especially against a Marquette team that's kind of already got one knee down, you know.
Or you have the guts to say 250?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I like Shaka Smart. I think he's able to weather the storm on at least this current upset against Western Kentucky because they play a very fast-paced offense, but do they play good defense? No.
Yeah.
Not even at their own level.
Okay.
But Purdue alum Brandon Newman is on that team, and Lutz is a former Purdue coach.
Really?
So maybe I should pick him, or I shouldn't because I know that Purdue does not have a very good history in March. So let's move along. Let's move along. If Florida is in that Marquette game, I could see them upsetting them as well. Yep. I think Florida, even with that injury, he didn't contribute. He contributed quite a bit. I think his size was very nice to have. I can't think of the guy's name who's injured. Their center though. But a full strength Florida team, or even without him, I think could upset a weakened Marquette team.
I can agree with that for sure.
But yeah, Marquette's one that I currently have in my Elite Eight. I'll go ahead and put that out there that I think I will not have in my Elite Eight come tomorrow.
That's fair. And I currently have Marquette winning as well. But if Colorado wins tonight, I will be making that change, and Colorado will be going to the Sweet 16 for me.
I mean, I got Marquette winning, but the injury to Tyler Croft, is that his last?
Kolek.
Okay.
Tyler Croft, that's a football player?
Yeah, former tight end for the Bengals.
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
So, yeah, if he's injured, And if he's not able to go, like I can potentially see Colorado upsetting them and advancing to the Sweet 16. So who knows?
All right, on to Texas Tech and Kentucky. We don't have to ask Ben any question on this one. He's got UK. I have Texas Tech, and you have Texas Tech, right, Josh?
Yes, I have Texas Tech. I think this is where the no defense, and I
make that face again.
Yeah, no defense. 108th ranked defense comes into play. So I would love to hear why you lean Kentucky over Texas Tech.
The guard play is going to make a huge difference.
The guard play. Yeah.
So are they going to play the right guards, or are they going to keep the more talent on the bench like he does every March?
He's gonna play the guards.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. Like I said, I got Tech.
Okay.
We will see. All right. Moving on to Duke and Wisconsin or James Madison. I personally think Wisconsin can knock off Duke. I think Duke is a very soft team. I think they're a very weak team, and I think that Wisconsin plays a little rougher brand of basketball, and they will knock them off their game. I have that pretty confidently. However, they face James Madison. I think Duke wins that game.
Yeah, I'm taking Duke. We can move on.
I actually have an upset. I think JMU will upset Duke.
Wow,
Yep.
There it is.
He just wants an easier path for Kentucky, doesn't
I'm
he?
the up.
They don't end up playing Kentucky, but
I'm
he's
just-
thinking
I'm just the upset guy.
he's the upset guy, Ben Miller.
Yep.
All right. Going on up, Houston, Nebraska. I think there's a world where Nebraska just shoots lights out. They're a very sneaky analytical team when you look at them. I know you guys had you have
A&M.
A&M, yeah. You guys had A&M.
Yeah.
But Nebraska's a very sneaky analytic team where you wouldn't think a Fred Hoiberg led team would be top 40 in both offense and defense in terms of net rating, but they are. So that's kind of surprising to me. But Ben, you think Houston get upset here? Let's hear why.
Well, like I mentioned before, I got Houston advancing actually, but I would not be surprised. I think this is going to be a really good competitive game. Like I mentioned before, Wade Taylor and that Texas A&M offense going up against Houston's defense. That's going to be a fun matchup. I cannot wait to see that.
Yeah, for me, in my point of view, I love Buzz Williams. I loved him at Marquette, and now he's down in A&M, obviously. I think come March, Buzz Williams could make an impact and pull off the upset versus Houston as well, because Houston just doesn't score. Their defense is great, but the offense is not always there. Case in point, like when we saw versus Iowa State, I think they are the most beatable one. But I'll also have most beatable one.
You guys hear that?
Most beatable one. However, they are the only one I have going to the Final Four. Let it figure out.
What?
They're the most beatable one, but they're the one. I like their path.
Okay.
You mentioned before. I'll move ahead to the next game. I got Houston and Duke. Duke is soft. They are not going to be able to handle the toughness of Houston, so Houston rules there. And then I have Texas Tech beating Colorado if Colorado wins tonight. And I just don't see Texas Tech being able to score on Houston. So, again, Houston, I just think the path, you know how every year that one team in March gets that easy little path to the –
Yeah.
I think this is the team that gets the easy little path to the Final Four.
Wasn't that the narrative around UConn when they made their run? They kind of had it easy.
Yeah.
I think Houston was the toughest team they played or something.
Yes, I believe so, but I believe it even was easier for FAU, who when they got to the Final Four,
maybe that was
because they were the 9 seed, right? 9 seed FAU.
9 seed,
yeah.
And
9
then they
seed.
got the 16 seed because who? We won't go there.
Yeah, we won't. We don't do that yet.
But yeah, so like I said, I just think Houston's got that path. They're just gonna walk to the Final Four, and I mean literally walk to the Final Four.
Okay, all right. Ben, on Houston versus, you had Houston versus Duke.
Houston versus Duke, or actually no,
He's got
Houston versus
JMU.
yeah.
Oh,
JMU.
that's right. The upset man.
I mean, I think this is where JMU's tournament run comes to an end. Houston's defense is going to be elite.
God, I hope so.
So Houston's defense is going to be elite. I got them advancing to the Elite Eight.
All right. Looking down, Texas Tech versus Marquette. I'll keep it with, or sorry, Kentucky Marquette for you, Ben.
I
Who we
Like-
got?
not a surprise, but I got Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, why would we even ask?
So we'll just jump ahead. What's your Final Four take? Dan?
Final four.
Final four. I'm going with UConn. I'm going with
No. Your Final Four for that.
Oh,
side.
hey, whoa. Slow down
My bad.
there, buddy. We still got 2 more regions to go through.
All right. So Final Four, it's going to be Kentucky.
Why am I not surprised?
Kentucky?
Yeah,
Who would have thought?
Kentucky? They're in the tournament?
yeah, they are.
That's great. Don't worry, you guys can say this all to me as Purdue makes their run.
Oh, trust me, it will be coming. Purdue, run. Yeah.
For me, I have Houston versus Marquette, and I have Houston winning that game. I think I'll be, like I said earlier, pivoting for Marquette in the Elite Eight, but I think Houston will be there regardless of the situation. So I got Houston beating Marquette. I got Houston beating whether it be Colorado, Florida, Texas Tech. You can do whoever it is. I got Houston winning.
Gotcha.
I think they got a fairly easy bracket, like you said. And so yeah, Houston, Auburn. That's 2 of my Final Four. Josh, let's hear you.
I already said.
Oh, you said Houston?
Yeah, I said cake.
Oh yeah, when you were saying the cakewalk,
Yeah,
my
cakewalk.
fault.
But we can move on to
Yeah.
the wonderful Midwest, and we can all
love
skip over this
Midwest.
first game. Purdue is going to handle. Zach Edey may put up 50 on whatever team they play in the 16 seed. However, if Montana State were to win tonight and then upset Purdue, are you ever going to speak to Logan again?
I might not speak to anybody again. I might just switch majors. I might go to accounting. Like what other pain do I need?
Yeah, I can promise you it will not happen again. I can make that guarantee promise. Zach Edey alone will win that game.
Really?
Zach
think
Edey
so?
alone will win that game.
You think so?
I can promise you. You are safe.
Got
Safe
it.
to say you
I'll
have
be-
Purdue rolling as well.
Yep.
I'll be working during that game, so they damn sure better not blow it. And there's a chance I'll go to the second game, but I will not. I don't know if I told you guys this story. I actually paid for tickets to go to the second round game.
Yeah.
16 seed. Like surely they'll win that game, right? And then they don't even win that one.
So you didn't buy the second tickets?
Oh, I bought the tickets to the second round.
No, I'm talking about now.
Oh no, yeah.
Okay.
We learned from our mistakes.
All right, fair
Very,
enough.
very much.
So the next matchup would be 8-9 Utah State and TCU. Plain and simple, went Utah State because of the Vegas odds. They were the underdog. 8-9 is so hard to pick. I can never decide. I haven't seen much of them. Little I've seen of TCU. They lost to the Bearcats, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, for myself, I'm going with Utah State over TCU. Like Utah State coming off a Mountain West championship, I think they will continue the momentum and
Was it
got them advanced.
was it the tournament or regular season?
The tournament.
Oh, I thought New Mexico won that for some reason.
Yeah,
The regular season.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
I was
Okay,
like, New Mexico.
yeah.
That's how New
I was like,
Mexico
I
got
was gonna say, I
in.
didn't think
Yeah.
New Mexico was going to get
Yeah.
in.
Sorry about
unless
that. That's on
Yeah.
me.
You're
Oh
good, you're
no,
good.
it's all good. It's all
Yeah.
good. So yeah, I have TCU here. TCU is a team that always gets that 9 seed, always gets that 8 to 9 seed. I mean, and they got is it Jamie Dixon?
Yes,
Jamie
great
Dixon.
coach.
Yeah, great coach. Always seems to find. I wish he could get like a great talented team
Yeah.
that could get him like a higher seed, but it seems like he's always able to win that 8-9 game. I like people that are used to being in March, whether it be the players or the coaches. So I always pick TCU in this situation. I'm going to pick TCU here.
Cool.
Looking down the list, we got. This is a game I have circled very, very much.
I think everyone's got this
Gonzaga.
one circled.
Let me go on my spiel here. We'll do a little 3-strike system. We have Gonzaga versus McNeese State. And strike 1, I just have terrible vibes with this Gonzaga team, as I always do. Always have bad vibes with Gonzaga, with the exception of the Jalen Suggs year. I like that team. And just other than that, I always don't see them making out the first weekend. Strike number 2, their bench is non-existent. 8.6 minutes per game from their bench. And then strike number 3, who is the player on their team that's going to step up when they need him?
Yeah.
Exactly. And
You got no argument for me.
I'll throw this in there. McNeese State Strike 4 is a pretty good team. They're actually a really nice team. They are 37th in points scored and 5th in points allowed. So a fifth as in like top 5 least amount. So Will Wade, experienced coach that knows how to win a game with a not overly talented team in March. Give me Will Wade in the McNeese State. What are they, the Cowboys or something?
Yes.
Cowboys. I got that. I had their image of their logo. Now I'll hand it over to you guys.
For me,
I love professing my hatred of Gonzaga.
For me, it's really simple. It's the most popular pick, but I'm going to take McNeese State. They play really good offense, solid defense. They got 4 guys who can score in double figures, and I just don't buy Gonzaga. This is not the same Gonzaga team that I have known my entire life as Gonzaga.
Not at all. Like Gonzaga, they haven't impressed me at all this year, except when they beat Kentucky at Rupp. But I'm going with McNeese State here. Like you guys mentioned, great offense and great defense. Averages 80 points a game. Excuse me. 5th in scoring, 8th in three-point percentage, and 4 players averaging double figures. I think McNeese State will advance past the Bulldogs.
Yeah, another thing I want to mention is that a lot of the people on McNeese State are high major transfers or top Power 5 transfers.
Gotcha. Yep.
So you look at that team, kind of the Island of Misfit Toys type deal, trying to prove that they should have been able to make it in the Power 5. And
heck, their coach trying to prove that
exactly.
he deserves a better job.
Great storyline there. Great storyline there. And they could honestly make a run. I think they could make it to the Sweet 16. There's a path. There's a weak Kansas team that's going up against Samford that might lose that game, and then they have to turn around and play McNeese State, which I think will give them. Will Wade's a great defensive coach. He might be able to figure something out, shut down Hunter Dickinson if he's even in the game if they play each other. So I still have Kansas in my Sweet 16 on this paper. But over the past day, I haven't updated and I made any brackets in the past 24 hours. I know I'm crazy. I think when I go and make my final bracket, I will end up having either McNeese State. I'll have McNeese State in the Sweet 16.
Since you brought up the Kansas game, we can move on to that.
Yeah.
Kansas and Samford. I think the Kevin McCullough injury is going to be huge, and I will give credit to Ben, who in class was calling this upset before even the injury. But he said if 2 guys out, he's definitely taking Samford. 1 guy's out, he's leaning Samford. So I'll be interested to hear his take. But just looking it over, Kansas just is not Kansas.
Nope.
They haven't been playing well away from Kansas when they get their bullcrap home calls. So I'm going to take the upset in Samford. And this bottom bracket setting up very nicely for your Purdue team to have some double-digit teams go far.
I mean, I'm going with Samford in this one. Like with Kansas, Kevin McCullough Jr. is out. That's going to be a huge loss. And if Hunter Dickinson doesn't play, I think Samford will upset the Jayhawks. Like, just looking at these stats here, they're 7th in three-point percentage, shooting 39%, 7th in fast break points, 5th in scoring. Like, this is an elite offense. And I think, like, they are going to wake up and they are going to upset Kansas.
Well, I can say yesterday the reports were Hunter Dickinson looks 100%.
Really?
In practice, yeah. Bill Self was literally hyping him up and drooling all over him.
Wow.
But I guess that's what $10 million gets you.
Anywho. Yeah, I think Samford reminds me a lot of, as much as it pains me to say, Farley Dickinson.
Who?
They just are an undersized team that will make the fact that they're undersized your problem, even if you have the height and whatnot. I do think if they have Hunter Dickinson, he's a little more versatile than Zach Edey. He can step outside of 5 feet from the paint. So I think if Hunter Dickinson, if he's definitely 100% and whatnot, I would say that he will be a problem for them, and that's why I would keep with Kansas there. But Samford is a tough team. But looking down the list here, I have this one circled, South Carolina and Oregon. I have Oregon winning this game, mostly because I mentioned this earlier. This is a team that often finds himself in this position under Dana Altman as their head coach. he's never lost in the first round in his tenure with Oregon.
And this
so,
is his last year.
Is it?
There's a high talk out of Oregon. This is going to be his last year.
You think he's just retiring, or
Yes, retiring.
Okay.
Retiring. Another old timer just doesn't want to deal with the NIL.
I can't say I blame him. I don't want to deal with the NIL, and I'm 21. Yeah, I got Oregon in this one. I think Pac-12 just in general, may it rest in peace, tends to have a low-seeded team, sneaks in with the conference tournament champion, and just happens to win a game or two. So I like the trends around this game. South Carolina's a great team, don't get me wrong, but they are somewhat inexperienced. It's been a while since they've been in the tourney. So don't hate a South Carolina pick here, but I'm going Oregon.
Yeah, for me, the 11th seed, 6 of the last 16 since 2019 have made it to the second weekend. I think Oregon is probably the best 11 seed. So I like Oregon also possibly to send Holtman out with a nice little run. I did not know the fact that he's never lost in the first round, though. Yeah. So I love it even more now.
I feel proud of it because I looked that up myself. Looked at his history.
That's a long history, too.
Yeah, it's a long one. But that was only with his tenure at Oregon.
I got you. Okay.
Anyways.
Ben, you got...
Yeah, Ben. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say something
I'm still
else
here,
on that.
I'm still here, by the way.
All right. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Hey, at least you got your name right this time.
Yeah,
at least I can say your name.
All right, so I'm going with Oregon as well. Like coming off a Pac-12 championship, I think that's gonna help them out, and I think they are gonna roll past South Carolina.
Yeah,
they're gonna keep the momentum going. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. What I was wanting to add there was that Oregon is a team that I trust in March. That has proven that maybe we had a average regular season. Well, now we're here for March to win a game or two, make a deep run, whatever. And that's a trust I don't have in NC State. That's a trust I don't have in other teams that went on Duquesne. I don't have trust in teams like that. I do trust Oregon to win this one out. But enough about this game that I have Creighton winning after this. Creighton and Akron. Akron was a team that I was very high on. They played here at NKU. When I watched that game, I was like, this is a team that can sneak out a win in March. And then they got Creighton. And I was like, nope, they're not winning this game. Yep. But don't be shocked if they somehow pull off a miracle. Yep. Because this is a team that is very they are undersized to an extent, but they also have a lot of length. They got a lot of 6'8", 6'11", kind of that range type of guys that are lanky. They grab rebounds. They play as hard as possible. They won on a last-second dunk against NKU. And I think this team got a terrible draw. Honestly, looking at other 3 seeds, I could have seen them upsetting Kentucky. Sorry, Ben. I could have seen them definitely up. If they would have had Illinois, I definitely would have picked Illinois to win or lose that game. And Baylor also could see them. Any other 3 seed, I could see them winning. Creighton, I'm very high on. I don't think they'll have an answer for the 3-headed monster there.
Yeah, it's real simple for me. I am extremely high as well on Creighton. As much as I want to pull for Ali,
that's another guy on there. Enrique Freeman as well is a beast.
Yes, I'm going to just roll with Creighton.
For myself, I might be changing this, but right now I think Oregon, they're going to continue that momentum from the Pac-12 championship and make it past Creighton and advance to the Sweet 16.
Okay. All right, then. That happens a lot, though, with these Pac-12 champions. But I really like this Creighton team. They have 3 players who average 50 points a game. 3 players combined for 50-plus points per game. Yeah. And I think when you have that, you shut down Baylor Shireman, you shut down Alexander, you still have Kalkbrenner dropping a 30-piece. Mm-hmm. And you can just rotate that around for whoever they're playing. So I don't hate that pick of Oregon. They have an experienced coach, but I like this Creighton team a lot. Their depth is very concerning. But looking down the list here, we have Colorado State and Texas, which after I already put Colorado State, I had no faith in Virginia to do anything there. Texas has been such a meh team to me that even if they do win this game, it's like I would get a better in the event that Colorado State wins this game. I think it's really a kind of a 50-50 game there. So in the event that Colorado State, I get more points in my bracket for that. So, yeah.
I'm going with Colorado State in this one. They just looked really, really good last night against Virginia. and I think they're going to continue the momentum over Texas. So Colorado State for me.
All right, for me, I'm just doing it for storyline reasons. I had no other preference but storyline reasons. I want to emphasize this. I'm taking Texas to beat Colorado State, Tennessee to beat St. Peter's, and then Texas to ruin Rick Barnes in March and beat them to the Sweet 16. So, yes, I have Texas going to the Sweet 16 and Rick Barnes losing to his old team.
What you got against Rick Barnes?
He's just Purdue and Arizona. They literally, it's the Spider-Man.
This is true.
It's the Spider-Man meme.
It's true, but if Chris Beard was the coach of Texas still, I probably would.
They would be national championship contenders if Chris Beard was there.
This is true.
It would have never fell off.
Yeah. Well, they can't even take a horns down.
Yeah, they're soft.
Yeah, can't even take a horns down. Soft ass team. Yeah, I got Colorado State there, but so you do have Tennessee.
Tennessee rolling.
You don't think St. Peter's will have a situation where they would become 2-0 against SEC teams that are 2 seeds in the tournament?
Who did St. Peter's beat again?
I'm right here, by the way.
we both have been there. We both have been there for sure. So we know there's no Purdue. I have TCU. You both had Utah State. I think Purdue wins regardless. Utah State could definitely pose a challenge to them because they're a good defensive team.
Absolutely,
yes. They're a pretty good defensive team. That could scare us a little bit, but I think we can manage. But what do y'all got?
I have Purdue as well. Pretty simple, easy. Like I said, I think there's a very good chance you see your team roll deep.
For myself, I'm going with Purdue as well. Like Utah State, I think they can challenge them on defense, but I think Zach Edey will be the difference. Purdue.
Love it. McNeese State versus either Kansas or Samford. I got on here Kansas. Like I said, I think I'm switching my take to McNeese State to make the Sweet 16. Little Cinderella run for y'all. Yeah. What do you guys got?
I had McNeese State since the brackets dropped, and I'm not going to change that mind.
For me, I'm going with Samford. I think they will continue the momentum.
You love this Samford team.
I mean, I've been keeping my eye on them for like the last couple of months. Like I love their offense, love their defense. So if they can beat Kansas, I think they can beat McNeese. That offense will be the difference maker. So I got Samford going to the Sweet 16.
All right. Well, we both agree that there will be an upset for sure.
Yep.
Oregon versus Creighton. We all agreed on that matchup. However, you have alluded to, you have Oregon in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
I have Creighton in the Sweet 16.
I've got Creighton in the Sweet 16.
He's got Creighton in the Sweet 16. We kind of had this discussion already, so I guess we'll, for the sake of time, move on down to Colorado State and Tennessee. I see a universe where Colorado State beats Tennessee. I do. No reason, really. Just Rick Barnes. Tournament. Same reason why you got Texas.
So I get attacked, but okay.
I like this Colorado State team a lot more than the Texas team. I don't know how they'll measure against Power 5 schools.
I just want it for the storyline to watch Tennessee fans have a panic attack because I don't know if you've ever met Tennessee fans. They're not fun people to be around.
I've seen some garbage throwing before.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Tennessee fans, so there's a little bias that I don't mind them going out early. Ben, what's your take down there?
I think this is going to be a really good offensive matchup between Colorado State and Tennessee, but I'm going with Tennessee to go over Colorado State.
All right. What about Tennessee, Oregon, you said?
Tennessee, Oregon, I got Tennessee. I think Dalton Knecht will be the difference maker in that one if he can go off for 40.
That's the thing. He has to score, right?
He has to be the one.
There's no one else there that is going to be able to carry. So it's basically him by himself all the way through March. No, I'm not buying it. Not buying it.
As much as it hurts my pride to say this, that was the issue with Purdue. That's why they lost that game. You had to have Zach Edey drop 35 points if you wanted to win that game. I think he might have even dropped that, to be honest, in that game. But when Mason Gillis is your second scoring option, you're not going to win a game in March. And that's my issue with Tennessee is they are one-dimensional with Dalton Knecht. Outside of that, you got Lil Bow Wow running around in his 6th year as a senior, and that's really all you got. When you have that, when you're one-sided, that's why I like Creighton a lot better than Tennessee because they have 3 scoring options. Yeah, they're not very deep, but they have 3 scoring options. So when one's off, they have another way. If a team is good at guarding the post, they can throw it outside. They got 2 guys that can score. They have guys that can create. That's why I like this Creighton team in this situation. But I understand Tennessee's a great balanced team. I've said that 5,000 times today because that's just something I really look in at when I look at teams. But they're great on defense, and this is the best offensive team they had in a while. So I don't hate that pick. I just look at Rick Barnes' history and just knowing from my history as a Purdue fan what it's like to just be one-sided. Yeah. Went on a little spiel there.
No, you're good there. Well, speaking of Purdue, I think they handle McNeese State. And as I said, I think Creighton goes on to beat Texas pretty easily. And just to speed ahead to my Final Four pick so we can get there, I'm taking Creighton over your Purdue Boilermakers. I apologize. However, I just think Creighton is an all-around team who can put up points on basically anybody. And Purdue is just Purdue. I hate to say it that way, but that's how it is.
All right, so I am going with Tennessee over Purdue in the Final Four. Or in the Elite Eight, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, Purdue, I just want to put this out there. Since you're high on Tennessee and you see them going to the Elite Eight, Purdue has already beat Tennessee this year.
Mm-hmm. Tough to beat a team twice.
Yes. However, one team's gotten better and one team has stagnated, in my opinion. I don't know. Is this just biased opinion? I feel like Purdue has somewhat gotten better. I don't think Tennessee has throughout the year. But
Spider-Man meme.
It's me looking at Drake. As much as I love Purdue, you just saw me defending them there. I have Purdue losing this game against Creighton. They might have an answer for Cockburners, their tall guy, I believe. They might have an answer for him. Zach Edey might shut him down, might not. Then who are they? Who's going to guard? Who's going to guard Shireman? Who the hell is going to guard Baylor? Absolutely nobody. So I'm just going to accept it now. Purdue's run ends in the Elite Eight, and that's better than anything we've had since Carson Edwards. And yeah. So moving on to the West bracket, I think it's pretty simple. We don't even have. Do we have to mention UNC's games?
No, we don't. No.
Do you have them in the Final Four?
No.
Okay, yeah. So we'll go.
Actually, I don't have them in the Final Four either. Breaking news. No, they're not in my Final Four.
I thought they were. Oh,
We'll get there.
Okay, so we got UNC beating Howard or Wagner, and then
and they will handle Wagner.
Mississippi State, Michigan State. Nothing much to talk about here. I got Mississippi State. What do you about you guys?
I'm gonna let you know right now. I had Michigan State all the way up until today on the way to the podcast.
For me.
Until we came to do the podcast, and I saw that Tom Izzo wants to get rid of automatic bids for the mid majors.
What?
Wow.
Did you not see that news?
No.
He is literally going ahead in front of the NCAA board to get rid of mid-major automatic bids. So to Tom Izzo, a big FU. And moving on there, Mississippi State rolls. Give me a cowbell.
For me, I'm going with Michigan State. I think this is going to be a close matchup. Mississippi State, they proved that they can be factors in this tournament. We saw it in the SEC tournament where they blew out Tennessee. But I think it's going to be a close matchup, but I'm taking Michigan State.
Why does Tom Izzo care about that? Because he gets in regardless of how good his team is.
Right.
He's a crybaby.
Yeah.
His one.
I used to I kind of respect him.
His one national title is literally rewarded to him because Kenyon Martin broke his leg.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Most painful day.
Yeah. Dang it. Well, moving along. I still got Mississippi State though. St. Mary's and Grand Canyon. I kind of go back and forth on this one because St. Mary's plays what could be considered on one side of the coin a very safe way of basketball. It also could be a risky when it comes to March because they play so slow. They don't rely on fast-paced scoring. They're going up against a Grand Canyon team that typically is a fast-paced team. It's the best team they've had. They've been in the tournament quite a few years here over the past 3 to 4 years, I would say. Mm-hmm. And they seem to get better every year. I really see them posing a threat. I like St. Mary's. The way I see St. Mary's can either lose in the first round or go to the Sweet 16. I don't know if there's really an in between. But yeah, it's a scary game to me on a 5 seed because St. Mary's is a team I have faith in, but their style of play worries me.
I'm going to tell you right now, I am absolutely terrified of St. Mary's. terrified of St. Mary's.
Okay.
When they play Carolina, which I have them getting to, I think they have a very, very, very good chance of beating them.
All right, for myself, this first matchup here between St. Mary's and Grand Canyon, this is another game I was kind of going back and forth with. Like Grand Canyon, they've been strong all year, but I think St. Mary's defense will show up, and I think they will advance in front of Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I think Grand Canyon's about to face the best defense they've faced all year.
Yeah.
So I think that'll play a part in it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have helped reassure me because it's one I've been 50-50 on as well, going back and forth, toss and turning. So.
Speaking of defense, let's talk about a team that has no defense.
Two teams that have no defense. Now, the way I see this game, it's another one that I toss and turn about because you literally have Alabama playing their mid-major version of themselves. Defense either
Can
way.
Charleston score like that, though?
Yeah, that's the question.
And I just don't think they can. I'm a very big believer that if I can find this bet anywhere in there, I'm betting Kentucky to score 100 and Alabama to score 100. I think both of these teams just roll in their matchup. Alabama handles Charleston no problem at all.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to. I have Charleston winning right now, but as I've thought about it, it's like you're going with a more talented team that's better at what you do.
Yep.
When you look at their stats, 90 points scored for Alabama, 90 points a game, sorry, and then they'll allow 81 points per game.
Yep.
And then Charleston, 80 points, and then they allow 72. So go ahead, Ben.
I mean, I got Alabama in this matchup. Like, it should be a good game, but I think Bama's offense.
I was say
excuse
stop
me,
with the defense.
offense will.
112th ranked
That's
defense.
the most anybody has thought
Worse
about
than
Alabama
Kentucky.
and defense in the same.
Yeah, I think their
breath.
offense will be the difference maker in this matchup. So I got them beating Charleston.
Okay. Yeah, I that's where I'm going to end up switching to, I think. But it's very hard for me to trust an Alabama team.
Yeah,
very much. But yeah, Clemson versus New Mexico, and now it is time for me to reveal my Cinderella story of 2024. New Mexico, give me New Mexico in that game. Richard Pitino, he's got to make his first deep run that gets him on the map to get him at a bigger program. Give me New Mexico in this one, knocking off Clemson.
100% agree. This bracket, like when they put it out, I literally said this is just hell on earth for me as a Tar Heel fan because I honestly can see this New Mexico team getting to the Final Four.
Yeah,
they are that
I wasn't going to say it in front of you, but now that you said it,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised as well.
Yeah,
like they're a Final Four sleeper in my opinion.
I can't argue that.
All right, so I'm taking New Mexico to get past Clemson in the first round. Like, this is another team that, like I mentioned before, is very underrated. Like, in the Mountain West, they're number one in scoring, number one in block shots, and number one in steals. Like, they can play both ends of the floor really well. I can see them making a deep run, possibly.
I think they handle Clemson, by the way. I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I don't think it's close either. Like, Clemson, I think, I was looking at a stat. They've lost 6 of their last 7 tournament games in the round of 64.
They're not good.
No, not at all.
And they're just a very stagnant team. I feel like nothing has really changed throughout the year. A lot of times you need some turning point in the season, and preferably to a good part, like Tennessee kind of a turning point to a bad part, whatnot. Yeah, I feel like they've just stayed stagnant all year. They've not gotten any better or any worse.
Yep.
And they're going up against the New Mexico team who's had their ups and downs, know what it's like, and are on a hot streak going into there. And like you said, even throughout the down parts, they've played good offense, they've played good defense. And I think they are in a section of the bracket where literally every team they could face does not really play very well defense. Baylor will be their matchup will probably be their matchup in the second round.
Yep.
And they don't play defense at all either, so I really like that matchup. But looking down, Baylor versus Colgate, I got Baylor. I think Colgate's always been kind of a trendy pick because I guess they kind of look good on analytics or whatnot. They always have good stats, but they also just don't play anybody, so I don't like them.
All right, I'm taking Baylor as well. Like, they're a really good 3-point shooting team, and I think that offense is going to show throughout the tournament. But I got them winning.
All right,
Baylor, easy.
Yep.
Yeah. I think Colgate always gets a lot of buzz. They get there often, but
it's a toothpaste school.
Yep, toothpaste school. Dayton, Nevada. This is one I've tossed and turned about a little bit. Dayton is a team that showed the potential for a Final Four appearance earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fell off a cliff. Surprised they got a 7 seed. Honestly, I was wondering if they'd even get in after they lost in the tournament. But going up against a Nevada team, we talked about earlier, the Mountain West is a very underappreciated conference.
Yep.
I feel like Nevada should have gotten a higher seed low key, but here we are. I have Dayton as of right now, but Nevada is a tough squad.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very tough 7-10 matchup, so it's almost like just take the 10 because you'll get more points in your bracket. But these are two teams I could legitimately see knocking off Arizona if they're at their best.
I'm taking Nevada in this matchup. Like, they're a really good 3-point shooting team in the Mountain West. Dayton, they're a really good 3-point shooting team too. Like, they proved it all year. Great offense, but this game in Salt Lake City, I think that's what's going to be the difference.
Ooh, I didn't even notice that.
Salt Lake City, yeah.
Great. That's a great point.
I got Nevada over Dayton.
That just might have flipped my pick right there. Josh?
So the Flyers won 16 of 17 and then have now gone 5-4 in their last 9. That is not riding high into the tournament, which you want to do. Give me Nevada.
Yeah. Like Dayton, they just look like a different basketball team.
Yeah, they're not the same.
Yep.
And then we have Arizona going up against Long Beach State University. That will be an interesting one, mostly just because of the coach that got fired. That we'll see that storyline like 50,000 times throughout the
It's
pregame
still
show.
hilarious.
Crazy stuff. But I got Arizona.
Give me Caleb Love because it's destiny.
I'm taking Arizona as well. Caleb Love, he's going to go off in this one.
Yeah, like I said earlier, like you need a guy on your team that's going to keep you from getting these upsets, and I think Caleb is that guy for Arizona.
Seen him do it.
Yeah, you have seen him do it. The guy, this is painful for
So,
you.
like I said, I'll just go.
So
ahead and
we'll
move
just stay here with Arizona as they are going to be going up against. Yeah, I think we've all just kind of agreed on Nevada now, even though I got Dayton on this bracket. I got Zona still in this one, but I think Nevada will pose a threat to them.
Yep.
Caleb Love in Arizona. It's destiny.
I'm taking Arizona as well. Like, I'm looking forward to this matchup. Like, two good offenses, but difference maker in this game, the man himself, Caleb Love.
One thing I do not like about this Arizona team is that throughout the season they kind of tend to take things lightly. They don't take teams serious. They probably will not take Long Beach State serious. I don't know if they will take Nevada serious. I don't know if it's a Tommy Lloyd thing or if it's just the players, but look at the Stanford game where they got blown out by Stanford.
Yep.
Like, the best teams do not let that happen. They are on their A game 100% of the time, and it doesn't mean you're going to win every game, but it means you will beat Stanford.
The only thing is this team has experience in March, especially Caleb Love and Umar Ballo, who both have been disappointed in March many times. And their starting lineup averages 10 across the board. All 5 guys, 10 points. So they're really, really good. And they got size. Man, do they got size.
Yeah, they definitely do. So New Mexico and Baylor. I have New Mexico here. I think balanced team against non-balanced team, that's an easy pick for me.
Give me the 23rd ranked defense over the 64th. Defense will win in March. The
3-point shooting game, like this.
Assuming that was New Mexico.
Yes.
Okay.
New Mexico.
Yeah. I'm taking New Mexico as well. Like I just mentioned, I think we're going to see a lot of threes from both sides of this game, but I think New Mexico will pull off the upset over Baylor.
Yeah, New Mexico as a team I just have such good vibes, and that's what a lot of this needs to be, is just vibes. You don't want to go off of purely stats and facts and whatnot. Just like if you got a good vibe about a team, you got to ride that vibe, and I have a good vibe about New Mexico. Moving on to St. Mary's in Alabama. I got St. Mary's here. I think they will just sun this team. Like, they play the game the right way. They don't just chuck up shots, and they will play both sides of the floor. They'll likely give you a full 40 minutes, and I don't see that coming from Alabama.
100% agree. St. Mary's easily.
Yep. St. Mary's for me as well. I think the defense, one of the best defenses in the country, that's going to make the difference in this matchup, so I'm going with the Gales.
Tar Heels.
Tar Heels.
I don't need
Tar
to say
Heels?
anything else.
Yeah, Tar Heels against
Tar Heels.
Mississippi State. Or you have Michigan State, don't you?
Yeah, I got Michigan State. So I got UNC advancing.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
We don't have to talk much.
There was a very, very brief moment where I think you thought he picked Michigan State, and you were looking at him very.
Like,
you gave him
okay.
a scary look. Then might have to sleep with one eye open. So I'm assuming you got Carolina over St. Mary's, but there's a little more of a conversation here to be had.
I know,
more of a
that
conversation
does
to be had.
scare
Here.
me.
Let's hear it.
I just think St. Mary's matches up very well when it comes to their style of play, and I still lean Carolina because again, it's just destiny, and we'll get into that next matchup. So
we'll let you have just a whole monologue next matchup.
Oh, I'm gonna need that one. So again, I Carolina over St. Mary's, and this matchup I knew was coming since the transfer happened.
I mean, this is a matchup I was going back and forth about. Like, that St. Mary's defense, they're for real. But as of right now, I'm taking North Carolina.
Yeah, I think the thing about St. Mary's is they will make you play a brand of basketball you have not played all year long, or very seldom have you played, and that just poses a threat to anybody in March. It's kind of like Virginia in a sense, where it's much better than Virginia. I don't even know why I brought Virginia in the conversation, but the year they won, they kind of played a slower pace of ball that forced you to go in areas that you didn't. That's how they won it all. But yeah, St. Mary's definitely poses a threat, but I like this North Carolina team.
I just think with Armando Bacot and R.J. Davis,
yes.
It's just two stars, and Harrison Ingram, and then Ryan Cormack has been coming off great. Like four of them have played so well together. So like I said, I think Carolina in a very, very close one, probably a lot closer than the experts think.
Low scoring game, probably.
Yes.
Yep.
Does St. Mary's have size? I haven't figured that out.
The two star players that I see of them are not very sized.
Okay, because that's definitely a big part of it. Is North Carolina obviously has Armando Bacot, and somebody's going to have to guard him, and that's definitely factored in there. But moving on to I have North Carolina and New Mexico, so I guess I should start here and then let you take over. I could see, and you said earlier, I believe, or maybe it was before we started recording, New Mexico could win this game. They pose a threat to any team.
Yes,
if they can just surprise you, they can do stuff in different ways than what they did last game. I think they're a very versatile team, which helps. I still got North Carolina. I feel like Cinderella stories come to an end at some point, but could we get a second Mountain West team in the Final Four? It might not even be New Mexico in this case, but and the way I see it, it could be New Mexico. But I got North Carolina here.
That's respectable.
So
do you want to go before I go on my rant?
Yeah, let's get Ben out of the
All right, so we're talking Elite Eight in the West, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Carolina, Arizona, everyone knows Caleb Love matchup. I think Mr. Love himself will be the difference maker. I got Arizona heading to Phoenix.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. It's in Phoenix. In that case of a UNC Arizona game, I just want to get the one last look at me before we go into the Josh monologue area. In that event, I do have UNC still taking that one. I think both sides of the floor they will take down Arizona, but like I said, I got them losing in the Sweet 16. So here we go. Enjoy.
So it pains me to say this is what I'm all wearing. I also have Arizona taking down North Carolina because specifically I've said this game was destiny from the beginning of the transfer to Arizona, that somehow, some way they were going to play each other in the Final Four, the Elite Eight, the National Championship. It didn't matter. We were going to the Tar Heels are going to run into Arizona. And Caleb Love is going to have that career game that every Tar Heel fan has died, and I mean died to see. And he's going to have it. And he's going to drop 40-plus points, and it's just going to be ridiculous, and it's going to break my heart for an entire year until next year when R.J. Davis comes back and Harrison Ingram comes back to North Carolina, and then we cut down the nets next year.
And there you have it, folks. The script has been exposed for next season. So here we go. Final Four is here. Or you said your pick, right?
Yeah. We all got picks.
Okay, we all got our picks in. Okay, sorry. It's been so long since before the monologue. I forgot where we were at. Auburn. I have. Should we just go individual? How we see our Final Fours?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go ahead and start with mine. I have Auburn and North Carolina in my Final Four, and then Houston versus Creighton. And I am going to be honest. on this bracket, I'll show it as proof. I have North Carolina winning. However, I have changed my mind. So the official bracket that I will be finishing, Auburn will be in the championship game, going up against still Creighton. And again, for the Auburn UNC game, there is nothing but feel in that for me. I think that Auburn is just the team this year. I think they are they have the most. They've gone under the radar a little bit. I know actually they haven't really. A lot of people are saying Auburn's a sneaky pick, but it's a team that I had a feeling about going into this kind of March part of the season, and I'm really I hope this is true. But although if North Carolina's in there, I kind of like North Carolina, so if they win, whatever. But I got Auburn in the championship going up against Creighton in that Houston-Creighton game. If any team were to stop Creighton, I think it'd be Houston. I think they have the ability to stop all three players. However, I think Creighton will just shoot them out the gym. I think their role players can step up in this game and have their presence felt, as they are pretty good shooters. I can't think of any names off the top of my head, but they got some good shooters there that could step up. Okay, we got these three guys guarded. Oh, this guy's open in the corner. Boom, big three. And I got Creighton facing off against Auburn in the championship. And in that championship, the first day I had Creighton. The second day I will have Auburn, or I guess it's third day now, Auburn winning the championship. Who wants next?
Go ahead, Ben.
All right. So I'm taking the UConn Huskies to make it.
Who do you got in your Final Four? Enrique?
Yeah, Final Four. I'm going with UConn. I'm going with Arizona and Kentucky. I'm just going to say something real quick. I meant to say this earlier in the show. Houston, #1 defense.
Okay. Yeah.
UK, #1 offense, and #1 in three-point shooting. Even though I'm concerned about UK's defense, I think they will beat Houston and make it to Phoenix. And I got Tennessee over Purdue in the Final Four. And I think it's going to be UConn versus Kentucky. UConn wins first back-to-back champion since 06 and 07.
All right. I don't hate that. You do know that defense wins championships, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, defense wins championships. All right. Yeah, UConn, if there's any team that were to go back-to-back, it would be UConn. And if I were just picking this sheerly off, no feel, how the season went, how the teams look, and even the path, I would probably pick UConn. So I don't disagree with your point at all. They're the best team going into March, but the best team going into March doesn't always win.
Facts.
So, all right, what do you got, Josh?
So for me, I have Auburn, Arizona, Houston, and Creighton. Houston and Creighton match up like perfectly together.
It's gonna be a hell of a game.
It's six guys, and they're just gonna run each other up and down the court.
Hell of a game.
I lean Houston. Again, I know I said they were the most beatable one, but now I've got them in the national title game.
Here we are. Most beatable one.
And then Auburn, Arizona, stick the knife in me a little bit deeper. I'm going to take Arizona, Caleb Love, continuing the run. First time since 2001 they've gotten to the national championship, and I've got Caleb Love winning the MVP of March Madness, cutting down the nets, and Arizona takes it all down over Houston because size will matter in that matchup, and I just don't think Houston's going to match up well.
I feel like Houston has some good size, though.
Yeah, but Arizona's size is different, man.
That's fair. I don't know.
And I'm just taking the best player on the court, and Caleb Love. And, again, just stab that knife a little bit deeper.
Yeah, that's all right. We already revealed the script for next season, so.
It will be redemption.
I mean, you pretty much predicted this March Madness to a T. So
it has pained me so much. Man.
But, yeah, I mean, that's some really, really good stuff. I'm excited. I'm so excited to get this started. I'm so excited.
So am I.
Who would be, like, your who would be your just out-of-pocket championship pick?
Like you're saying,
like nobody really even has them in the Final Four. Like, no buzz whatsoever. Who's just a random ass team in the field that can just get it? You think could possibly get it done?
I'm gonna go with the double digit seed, New Mexico State.
New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico. Excuse me. Sorry.
New Mexico State's the one that's in the past made a lot of tournament
correct.
runs, so I get that confusion.
The Lobos.
Yeah. New Mexico,
Right now.
excuse me. Like I mentioned before, they're an elite offense, an elite defense. They can block shots, they can get steals, they can shoot the three. And they're I can see them possibly making it to Arizona or Phoenix, excuse me.
Well, Phoenix is in Arizona, so
Yeah.
you weren't wrong at all. Yeah, but I think when you look at that New Mexico team, a big thing in March is just being able to seeing these matchups and seeing a path for them to win. And I definitely see anywhere, even against Auburn, even against Creighton in the championship or Houston, I see a path for New Mexico to win. Yeah, I don't. That would probably be the next one. I was thinking that, but I thought that might be a little bit too crazy. But you're upset, man. You're
Yeah.
upset, man. So, I don't know. You got anything, Josh, or have I stumped you?
No.
right.
I came to the conclusion. I'm gonna say St. Mary's.
Okay.
It's just one of those things. Like I said, man, they match up so well. Like that bottom bracket, Carolina couldn't ask for a worse bracket. You run into Caleb Love in Arizona. You run into a underseeded New Mexico team, and then you possibly run into a St. Mary's team, which you said plays completely different style of Carolina, which the only experience they have with that is versus Virginia. So, yeah, I would not be surprised to see St. Mary's be that team to get to the Final Four, and then who knows what happens once you get to Arizona. And that also, I want to add, Arizona winning it in Phoenix. They'll have that home crowd.
Yeah. It'd be like the year the Rams won the Super Bowl in Los Angeles. I don't hate that one bit, but yeah, I mean, is there anything else that you guys want to bring up? It's been a long podcast, the longest podcast for sure. I mean, this might be longer than all of our podcasts combined.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we had a lot of we wanted to talk about that we had prepared, so and we weren't going to be able to get that out. So yeah, I'm glad we got that out, and yeah, I guess that is all. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you again, Bill Farrow and NKU Media Services, for allowing us to use your space and all your equipment. This has been a blast to talk about, and hopefully maybe we can do it again sometime. You know?
Absolutely.
I would love to. I'd love to. And yeah, that's our March Madness predictions. If you guys want to join, I'll make sure that we get a link to our bracket challenge. It'll be a very short notice, but if you already have a bracket on ESPN, you can probably just slide that in there. We have a bracket challenge that I'll make sure is in the description. It's Norse Benchwarmers challenge if you want to look it up on ESPN. And yeah, that's all. You guys want to say goodbye?
This was awesome, man. I definitely want to do this again.
Yeah, this is definitely really fun. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
And
All right. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.